Let us invite some people here. We're live. Wonderful. Oh, I just realized. Hello, folks. Welcome. Oh boy, give me a moment there. All right, folks, we're getting ready for an encounter. An encounter with Rosh Hashana. The new year. What's it going to look like for us? What is the new year going to look like? Okay. So, we're live on Facebook. We're on Clubhouse.
Clubhouse also. Oh, nice.
We are, oh, there we go. We're on Instagram.
Rabbi, on Instagram, the feed is frozen.
Tell me if it's okay now. Yeah, I went out for a second. Are we good now?
Yes, now it's good.
Now it's good. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I lost everybody. Now it's good. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol neh b'boreh. Hi, everybody, to life.
Amen.
And we're coming to a new year where we're all looking for things. We want stuff. We want life. So first of all, ksiva v'chsima teva l'shana teva musukah should be written and sealed for a good new year, for a sweet one, and all good things. L'chaim, l'chaim, everybody. L'chaim.
Amen.
Amen.
So the awesome day of Rosh Hashana is upon us 1 week tonight. It's next week, Sunday. We won't have a class for TRC as a result. So we need to prepare. We need to prepare. We need to ask ourselves in that preparation, what is it that I want from Rosh Hashana? What is it I'm praying for? What am I praying for this coming year? The first thing that's important to note is that Rosh Hashana is called the head of the year. It's not the beginning of the year, because like the head that controls the body, so does the head of the year, the 48-hour day, Rosh Hashana, control the rest of the body of the year. Therefore, it's an awesome day. It's a solemn day. It's a national and a personal day of judgment. As the Talmud calls it, Yom Hadin, the day of judgment. So it's pretty, pretty awesome. Let's see how the Talmud gives us some understanding of it. So I just wanted to let you know today we're on Zoom. I'm talking to the Zoomers because I see them. But I'm talking to truly myself. And I see the Zoomers. Thank you. Oh, okay. And, but at the same time, we're also on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. And we're also on Clubhouse. So we're going to try to make this a beautiful discussion that everybody can join in. So get ready for the journey, because this is a journey for a whole year that we're going to take right now, right? Because that's where we're going into the new year. So sharing the screen here on Zoom, which then will also be seen on Facebook, but unfortunately it won't be seen elsewhere. So the Talmud tells us the following, that it is taught, this is in the tractate of Rosh Hashana, in the Mishnah, the first of Tishrei is a new year for counting years. The Gemara asks, with regard to which halacha is this stated? And what law is this? Okay, so it's the beginning of the new year. What does it mean? So what's the significance? So Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, he said, it is with regard to judgment, as it's written. And the land that the Lord your God cares for, the eyes of the Lord your God are always upon it from the beginning of the year. Oh, it's from the beginning to the end of the year. From the beginning of the year, judgment is passed as what will happen to the end of the year. As I mentioned, it's the head of the year, so therefore, judgment day of what will be for us throughout the year. And where is it known that the day of judgment is indeed the first day of the month of Tishrei, which is, as we know, Rosh Hashana, because the verse says, blow a shofar, the ram's horn, at the new moon, at the covered time for our festival day, as it says in Psalms, which is the festival on which the moon is covered, hidden, right? There's only one. You must say that's Rosh Hashana, which is the only festival that occurs at the beginning of a month, when the moon cannot be seen. And it is written in the next verse, for this is a statute for Israel, a judgment for the God of Jacob, implying that this is the day of judgment. That's Rosh Hashana. Yom Adin. So I got to share with you, when my wife and we first came to Montreal, and we were running the Chabad house on McGill University, downtown on Peel Street, Peel and Sherbrooke, if anybody's familiar. That's literally, the heart of downtown. That's where the campus is downtown. And so the first Rosh Hashana, Yom Kippur, that we made for services, that we came. So the students came in, and I saw they were uneasy. And maybe the first time coming to Chabad, in their hometown, they maybe didn't go to Chabad for the most part. So I saw that, come to Rosh Hashanah, the new year. And, in the Nisana Toik of prayer, we ask, who's going to live? Who's going to die? How are you going to live? How are you going to die? And it's, it's chilling. Can be, at least, right? So I get up and say, we only have two rules here in the Chabad house. One, I said, is that if you have a question to ask, don't be bashful. Don't be bashful. If you have a question, where we are in the service, what does this mean? Don't be bashful. We're here to help in the journey. And the second law is, or the second ruling here is, no smoking in the bathroom. Everybody says, oh, okay, Rabbi, we won't do it. So it was a joke because, well, didn't expect anybody to smoke in the bathroom. But people didn't take it as a joke. They took me seriously. very seriously. After all, it's Rosh Hashana. It's the day of judgment. They're shaking in the boots. So, from a halachic standpoint, then, being the day of judgment, Rosh Hashanah, is what it's about. So, what are we supposed to pray for? So, let's take a look. Brought down, the Maharam says, a person is judged on Rosh Hashanah exclusively for physical, worldly matters. The mention of life and death is not limited to a man's number of days. Rather, death refers to all worldly suffering, plague, losing children, God forbid, poverty, and the like. Liturgically, all of the above fall under the umbrella of death. Likewise, the term life is generic reference to any reward or worldly good. So historically, this is why Jews made a big deal about Rosh Hashanah, because it is a big deal. You know, what are you going to get this coming year? What it's going to be? What kind of life are you going to have? And so on. I got a question for you folks. Really? That doesn't sound too inspirational. They're just coming to ask for basic needs. Who's going to live? Who's going to, what does this mean exactly? Michelle, you have a question? Go ahead, Michelle.
Hi, Rabbi.
Hello.
So nice to see you. It's been a
Likewise.
while.
Yes. So, you have any question that you wanted to put forward, or you had something that you wanted to share?
Well, I just wanted to just go with a thought here. You know, I remember being a child and Rosh Hashanah, everything was new. We always got a new outfit. We always got new shoes. Everything seemed to be like a new start.
Right. Exactly.
And so, are we praying for a clean slate? Does that go hand in hand with teshuvah?
Yes.
Throwing away our sins.
Yes. So
That's
I want to develop the thought, because that's not the point that we made. The point that we just brought in Jewish law is life and death that we're talking about doesn't mean literally only life and death, but anything that has to do with worldly matters that brings life, like sustenance, right? That we should, health and all these things. Exactly. But my question is as follows. How inspirational is that? How inspirational is that? That's my question. So, before entertaining more questions, Natalie, if you'll give me a few moments, I want to just develop the idea here so we can get into the thick of things. But we'll come back in a moment. Okay. So there's a story told of one of the Alter Rebbe's Chassidim. The Alter Rebbe, the author of the Tanya. This is over 200 years ago, a story. Reb Shmuel Mokes, famous chassid of the Alter Rebbe. And he was traveling to spend actually with the Alter Rebbe, Rosh Hashana. But, back in the day, travel took some time. And he got stranded before Rosh Hashana in a small little shtetl somewhere in the Ukraine over Shabbos. And Shabbos after Shabbos, everybody retired early to bed. And then several minutes before midnight, the shamish, the sexton of the synagogue, was making rounds. He was going around with a lantern in his hand and with a wooden mallet, and he was pounding on the shutters of the homes and said, "Wake up, wake up, wake up to the service of the Creator." What was it? It was Slichas night, which was last night, Saturday night, was Slichas. Slichas means It's a certain prayer that we begin to say in preparation for a new year. Slicha means sorry. So we begin this before Rosh Hashanah. Now, Rav Shmuel Munkus was hosted by a simple Jew, not a learned individual. Not a Shmuel Munkus was a extremely learned and great Torah scholar and great chassid. And this simple farmer, he got everybody dressed up, getting ready to go for slichas, for this special prayer that's at midnight Saturday night, which we had last night. But his special guest, honored guest, Rabbi Shmuel Munkus, was not ready. So he went over to his door and knocks on the door. And he sounds like he's perfectly sound asleep. He didn't wake up. So he calls out to him, Rabbi Shmuel, please get up, come quickly, slichos is beginning. So he answers back to him, why are you waking me up in the middle of the night? He was shocked. What do you mean? Everybody knows, even his little children know. It's slichos night. It's on the eve, the week before, or the few days, whenever, before Rosh Hashanah. What do you mean? Why are you waking you up? Tonight is slichas. So Reb Shmuel says, what is slichas? He was incredulous. He had him at his table, and he was a great Torah scholar. What do you mean? What is slichas? He's asking such a question. How could that be? He says, what do you mean? Slichas, it's before Rosh Hashanah. I burst out into tears, and he says, we got to pray to God. We got to beg God to bless us with a good year. He says, what? It's so urgent. Can't it wait until tomorrow? What do you have to pray tonight? Let me sleep. We'll pray tomorrow. He couldn't believe it. What do you mean? I have to pray starting tonight that my cow should give me enough milk for the next year so my kids can have a healthy year by drinking the cow's milk. I gotta pray that my oats will fetch me a high price in the market. And I gotta pray to God that my daughter should get married off this year. And that my horse shouldn't break a leg like it did last year. So Rabbi Shmuel Munkus turns around and he gets up and he says, since when do grown men get up in the middle of the night to ask for a little bit of milk? He was trying to teach a lesson, Rabbi Shmuel. What are you doing? That's what you're getting up for. That's what you're doing. You want to make sure you have livelihood. So you're getting up in the middle of the night so you're going to beseech God so you can have bread on the table, milk from the cow. You're going to have the things that you need. Mizitcher Magid, who is the mentor and the teacher of the Alter Rebbe, teaches that we need to stay far away from asking for our own needs, not only on Rosh Hashanah, but actually at any time. As he writes, when Jews stand before God to pray, this is how they ought to behave. Their whole desire when praying should be to manifest godliness in this world. Though they are requesting personal things, the real intent behind it should be to ask that nothing be missing on high. The soul is a part of God, a veritable limb of the Shekhinah, of the divine presence. And so the real request in prayer is to complete whatever may be lacking on high. When a person prays like this, their prayers are certainly answered, and the Satan, the evil negative side, is unable to obscure them. Unlike those who seek their own welfare and bark like dogs and cry, give me, as described in the Zohar. Ooh, those are very sharp words. Give me like a bark of a dog. So what's going on over here? It's a little confusing. So what's the deal with Rosh Hashanah? Is it a time that we're asking? Didn't we just learn in Jewish law that it's a time that we ask for those things that can enhance our lives? And yet now we read that, that's like barking like a dog. It says, gimme, gimme. How do we understand this? So the simple answer would be, well, for simple people with small minds, their health and their wealth and pursuit of happiness is all they think about. And that's the only thing that moves them. So maybe that's the deal, even though it's not ideal. And we can even find supporting, teachings that bring that idea out. In the Machzor for the high holidays, we say a prayer. Your nation's needs are many, but they lack the understanding to ask for everything they need. So we see it's a time to ask for your needs. And we don't know exactly all the things that we should be asking. So, hey, that's on a simple level on how we can understand those words. There's a much more powerful message here, a much more deeper understanding. It's the opposite. It's precisely because we lack proper understanding. That's why we have so many needs. Ooh, what does that mean? Hear that? It's because we're lacking proper understanding. That's why we have so many needs. And this is a teaching of the Alter Rebbe. He says, the reason the nation's needs are many is because they lack intellect. If they possess broad, strong intellect, they wouldn't want so many things. That they do is only due to small-mindedness. So what does this mean exactly? If we're small-minded, we want lots of things. What does that mean?
To fill our void.
Okay. Very good. What else?
We don't,
I see.
we don't accept our lot. What Hashem gives us is what we
Okay,
need.
very good. Lack of faith. Excellent. Sorry.
It's usually greed. Greed. A person
Greed.
with a
Okay.
lower intellect is greedy, usually.
Right. Okay. Very good, Natalie. Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, Rabbi,
Yes, Michelle.
surely it also means that we're not understanding that we already have what we need.
Oh, excellent.
We
Okay.
just have to tap into it.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Beautiful. Anybody else? Oh, 1 second. I see a couple people here. Austin, I see, and Ariel. Okay. Just on this question, please, I want to stay on topic here. So Austin, go ahead, then Ariel.
Lack of understanding of the unity, importance of Echad.
Okay, excellent. A lack of understanding of the unity. Okay. So therefore, there's a lot of things, right? Beautiful. Ariel.
Similar to the faith, just like with tzedakah, the more we give, that's the amount plus in multiples that we get back during the year.
Excellent. Okay. So, all of you said a beautiful piece, a different aspect, a different angle, which was excellent. And let's pick up on it and play with it further. What's the difference between a very mature mind and a small-minded mind? So a mature mind, or you know what, the best way to give it is by way of example of like a child, right? A child is wanting, they want the candy, they want to watch Cocomelon. Just had some grandchildren over watching. Right? They want to sit next to, you know, this kid. They want all of these things that, first of all, are not one thing connected with another. Austin, I think you mentioned, right? And all of the things are ephemeral. They're here in the moment and gone the next. So a small-minded person wants those things that the naked eye or the palate tastes, and the naked eye sees that it's, you know, it's pleasing. The palate has a wonderful taste from it. You know, the ear likes the noise that it makes and so on, but it's ephemeral. It comes and it goes. A mature mind wants something that is more uniting things, right? That things are not, you know, just easy come and easy go. And those things are obviously going to be more of the spirit. Those things are going to be more about connection, more profound connection, a deeper connection. And an ultimate connection, you know, would be connection to the Almighty and to connection of the purpose that we were created for. So we could, in reality, look at life as, you know, do I have a full pantry and therefore I have security, you know, materially? And do I have, you know, all of the other things that give me a sense of security, but maybe a false sense of security in all of the material world around me, that I want to have something of it, right? But it's fleeting. It only serves a, you know, momentary purpose that might be pleasurable to our senses, but it doesn't last. A mature mind wants something that is lasting, that something's going to be not just here and now, it's going to be here tomorrow too. So like I would suggest all of you have mature minds, because that's what you're coming here to learn right now and to engage and to discuss, is because you want to prepare for a new year in a way that it's not going to be here in the moment then gone, but it's going to be something that you take with you and will have a lasting effect upon you. That's what we're talking about. And what's interesting is the ultimate purpose of creation itself, when you think about it, brings this idea out of bringing the ultimate redemption, Mashiach, a world of peace, a world where there be plenty, where we don't have to worry. We will have security. We don't have to worry what's, you know, in our pantry will be full. We'll have it all. But that's not what the sages or the prophets yearn for. That we should have a material wealth. But what they celebrated and what they wanted is that we should have all of the material wealth in order that we can pursue a deeper bond and connection to each other, a deeper reality of God's presence in our lives in every moment, and that we can pursue that without disturbance. You know, when you have to worry about what's in your pantry, if you're going to have food tomorrow, it's hard to come and sit here and focus on any, you know, spiritual idea that can be meaningful. But when you have it all materially, so to have it all materially is not the point, is not the objective. It's only the means, right? Not the end. As the Rebbe explains, a person, right, so Rebbe in this week's Sikha, with a broad understanding doesn't care for materialism. After all, materialism is limited. For the broad-minded person, it's really trivial. The thing such a person pursues is really Torah and mitzvahs. Torah and mitzvahs are not limited by the contours of this world, or any world for that matter. They are truly infinite and broad. And so that for a broad-minded, they are the only things that really matter. Due to their broad mind, such a person doesn't bring their material matters, doesn't think about their material matters. The only thing they're concerned with, their spiritual matters, and the materialism is only important insofar as it serves their spiritual matters of Torah mitzvahs. This then is the meaning of the liturgy. Your nation's needs are many, but they lack understanding. Due to the limited understanding, they care about materialism, and that's why their needs are many. One who possesses a broad mind, by contrast, doesn't care about material matters and is thus constantly in a state of a glad heart, and are always happy. Ooh, and they're always happy. Why? So, if that's the case, then it sounds like the liturgy, though, on Rosh Hashana is sort of like we're making concessions to the spiritually immature mind that, you know, okay, you can ask for your things, and, you know, because of your lack of broad-mindedness and maturity, that's what you need to ask for. Fine. We are kind of making an exception for you. We're making a concession for you. Is that really the case? That doesn't sound appropriate. The truth is, it's the exact opposite. Let's understand. The exact opposite. Rosh Hashana is coming. One of the preparations that Chassidim make before Rosh Hashana is they go to their Rebbe. So last week, I went to New York, and I went to the Oil of the Rebbe and wrote a Pidyon Nefesh, which I suggest everybody do that for many reasons. One is for the blessings that you will get, but also that you will introduce yourself, if you haven't already, to the Rebbe and be connected. So I went for the connection itself, but in that connection that I am asking, and what am I asking? I'm asking that I was sent here for a purpose, and that I should be able to fulfill that purpose. Could you imagine, folks? Think for a moment. Come to Rosh Hashana, and you could ask for anything. Anything. So I want a new house. I want to have I want to have a beautiful vacation this year. What is the problem with that? Is that you were created in order to have a new house. You weren't created in order to have vacation. Can you have a new house? Can you have a vacation? Does that fit in? It can, of course it could. But the question is if it fits in with your purpose for what you were created for. The reason we were created in a physical world, and that we're not just spiritual beings, is because God wants his presence to be felt, to be his presence to be in this material world. He doesn't want that we should leave this world to find him. He doesn't want us to be spiritual to find him. I shouldn't say that, to be spiritualists. He wants us to be engaged in a material world and find God there. To use the material world for that purpose. So the main thing that we want is, God, you put me here for a reason. Let me fulfill that purpose. Having something is nice, but it's not being something. Being something, what you're meant to be, is the ultimate blessing in life. So we pray to God on Rosh Hashana that I should be able to fulfill what I was created for. And that is to bring the presence of God into this world in a more real, palpable way. Through every mitzvah, every time we study Torah, we do that. And therefore in our prayers we say, God, your kingship should be manifested in the entire world, that the entire world should be able to see, not only that you rule the world, but you're the reality of the world. And that we're asking God that I should be able to have a part in that. Now, in order to have a part in that, what emerges is, I need material things in my life. Not because that's what I'm seeking is the material thing, the nice car, the beautiful home, security because I have a good job. Not because that's what I'm seeking. I am seeking that I could use all of that dedicated to you for your purpose that you've created me. And that is to bring the presence of God more real into this world, which every mitzvah we do. And you might say, oh, that's a very high-minded idea. Am I maybe fooling myself to think, is that really my intent? I really need a bigger paycheck. I'm feeling anxiety every month to pay the bills. Or I'm having challenges with health. And I am pleading to God to help me with my health. I'm having family issues. Those things seem to be real to us. And we end up praying for that. It seems to us that maybe the select few that are in a unique club are only asking for things in order that they could use it to fulfill their purpose. But the average individual, the average Jew, seemingly, they just want downright the things that they feel that they're lacking in a material, physical sense. So are we fooling ourselves? or not? So there's a beautiful teachings from the Baal Shem Tov. And that is why does God make us hungry and thirsty? So there's the surface reason, but then there's a much deeper understanding and a reason. Let's pursue this. Says the Rebbe in this week's Parsha. Now, Baal Shem Tov revealed a fascinating mystical truth embedded in the verse in Psalm 107. Hungry, as well as thirsty, their soul enwraps itself in them. These words come to answer the question, why did God create us with a craving for food and make our survival dependent on eating? The answer is that there are divine sparks trapped in the material entities. These sparks long to cleave to holiness. They call out for assistance, and our souls hear their call and respond to their plight. Whenever we eat or drink, we sublimate the divine sparks in the food or drink that have called out to us to achieve spiritual elevation through us. Thus, the mystical meaning of the verse is this: hungry as well as thirsty. Why do we experience hunger or thirst? Their soul enwraps itself in them, because the soul, the divine spark, is trapped within them, within the food. It's in exile. It seeks liberation, that divine spark in the food. God leaves hints for Jewish people, indicating the various ways in which we will discover the lost entities, divine sparks, or return them to their rightful owner, our Father in heaven. Wow. So why are we hungry? Why do we need to eat? Is on a surface level, when we feel the hunger pangs, that's what motivates us. But on a deeper level, because there's sparks of godliness that are in that food that we need to release its energy. As the Baal Shem Tov says, and said in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, when a Jew feels an urge to eat, it is really an expression of their soul. The soul yearns for her source, like a flame that leaps upward. The person is unaware of the inner urge and just assumes that they want to eat. So here is the beautiful thing. We are in tune with our small-mindedness of the body talk, of the animal soul's conversation with us that says, I want all these things that all touch different senses and pleases them. One is a lollipop for the tongue. One is a beautiful, a beautiful sight of something that I want to go visit. Another is a beautiful, voice that I want to listen to. And all of these things are pulling us in different directions in our small-mindedness, because all we are attuned to in that moment is our senses. But if we go to the purpose of why we were created, not denying those senses, we're not denying, but what we're saying is that those senses that led you to it, don't let it only stop you with your senses. Know that you have a sixth sense, your soul. Your soul is driving you towards wanting a nice, more beautiful home, to have more money, right? That's the body talk. That's the animal soul convincing you that, but know at the same time that that drive is coming from a deeper place. Your soul. It wants it. It doesn't want it as an end in itself, like the body wants it, just to be pleasing to one of our senses or one of our, egoistic needs, perhaps. But the soul wants it because through that, I can fulfill my purpose that I was created for. I wasn't created to shun the material and the physical. I was created to take it and sublimate it and to use it for a higher purpose. So this Rosh Hashana, we were all going to pour out our hearts and needs that we have. But recognize that those needs that we have are not an end in themselves, but a means to a greater purpose. And what's that? Why I was created. The purpose I'm here. So as the Rebbe says, the true reason a Jew asks God on Rosh Hashana for his or her personal material needs is really an outpouring of his or her soul. Though outwardly it looks like they're making a personal request for children, family life, health, and wealth, the truth is that it's really an expression of the soul's hunger to fashion those material things into a home for God. This is what this day is. So on Rosh Hashana, we should be inscribed and sealed on Yom Kippur. Whoever, God forbid, isn't healthy, they should be well. Whoever needs material things so they could, feel a sense of security, wonderful. But really know that ultimately why we need this is that I could be me, fulfill the very purpose I was created for. As the Rebbe says, the very fact that people get particularly inspired when saying the prayer, let us proclaim the mighty holiness of this day, who shall have rest from the depths of their hearts, compels us to say that it is a reflective of the certain truth. In other words, the simple reason why people get inspired by this prayer is because they're human, and therefore such material matters are closer to the heart than other spiritual matters. But the truer, deeper reason for the added inspiration is because God wanted to make a home specifically in this world. And as such, it touches a Jew at their very core. For this reason, a Jew is particularly inspired when it comes to making material requests, because the inner truth of these requests is at the essence of their very soul making moves to carry out the divine plan of fashioning a home for God in this world, which is the very reason that they were created for. Now, don't feel bad that if you don't appreciate and not ready to do it for a higher reason. And that's why you're crying out for God for health, for wealth, for family issues. That's okay. Cry out to God for those things in any case. Firstly, you're going to the right address. You're connecting to God. It's for your personal things in life that you want. Fine. At least you're going to the right address. At least you're connecting to God with it. Secondly, moreover, is that when you will make the request, eventually, you know what will happen? You will come to recognize that all of those things, even when it comes to health, is only a means to an end. It's only a means to an end. We spoke this morning in the Tanya class about, Ariel brought up, if you recall, this morning of Rabbi Yitzi Horowitz, who literally can't move a muscle in his body A limb in his body can't move. The only thing he can move is his eyes. And yet, he probably has more influence on people's lives than many people who have a lot of money, a lot of good health, and all wonderful, good, pleasurable things in life. Because even though, and this is, it's a hard thing to wrap your mind around on some level, because on a human level, just to be healthy, be gesund, seems to be, end all and be all. But the truth is, fulfilling what you were created for is the end all and be all. And Rabbi Yitzi is doing that by writing words of Torah every week. He's got very little means, but his ends are great. So instead of asking for the means as an end in itself, ask for all of those things that you want, but as a means to fulfilling the purpose you were created for. And of course, you want to make sure that it fits in with the purpose you were created for. It's to change this world for good. In the meantime, if you're not holding by that, make the request anyways, because in that request ultimately will come a recognition that request, that even though it might be very self-serving, is really ultimately will be serving the purpose you were created for. And that would be serving God Almighty through that, because you will get there eventually. But this Rosh Hashana, let's storm the heavens. Let's demand from Hashem. We want Mashiach now. Some of us might want it because we're not healthy. Some of us might want Mashiach because, we're impoverished and Mashiach comes, there'll be great wealth. That's great. If that's the only reason you want, then storm the heavens and ask for that. And eventually you'll come to the truth, is because what do you want him? Mashiach, because that's the whole purpose of creation. That's the whole purpose of we're here. It's to change the world for good. And in the interim, ask God this Rosh Hashanah, give me everything and anything I need that I can fulfill what I was created for. That is the ultimate. That's a broad-minded person. That's a healthy mind. That's maturity. That's growth. The truth is, we're all there. Proof is, because you're here. Because you're here, you're all there. L'chaim. Any questions, any comments? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rabbi, I did earlier. I wanted to just share my stories. I'm going to try
Sure.
not to make them too long.
Go ahead.
But Baruch Hashem, every Rosh Hashana, I have like crazy, amazing miracles. Like last year, I'd lost my purse. I was stuck in the city after Rosh Hashanah, like services and prayers. And it was a windy, rainy day. And I sat down on a fountain, praying to God, how am I going to get home? And Baruch Hashem, I stood up. And two 20-pound notes, the exact amount of money I needed to get home, flew at me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. And then on top of that, many things have happened. Like last 2 months, my nan has been dying. She was in a coma. The doctor said there was no hope. She even caught COVID, and they said there was no hope. She wasn't going to come out of the coma that she was in. They said she was 100% going to die. There's zero hope. We said our goodbyes, planned her funeral, everything. They told us to come in. She won't last the night. we said our goodbyes, and again, she woke up and she's completely healthy. They had told us that her brain had shut
Wow.
down, her heart had shut down, everything had shut down. There was no hope. She
Oh,
just
wow.
wakes up completely healthy. And then Baruch Hashem, so last night, obviously, I was praying heavy for a new year, new mission, you know. And this morning I found out straight after my nights of prayer, all my prayers come true with like a shidduch.
Uh-huh.
Every year, either Shliachos or Rosh Hashana, there's like amazing miracle. If I pray hard, it comes true. Baruch Hashem.
Okay, beautiful. So I'm gonna give you some people to pray for.
I don't know why it happens, but I just thank God it
All
does.
right. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Davida, go ahead, share with us.
Yes, Rabbi Fine. I was wondering if there is any difference between when we pray before Rosh Hashanah or during the days of awe, or when we're standing in front of the Ark at Nila.
Is there a difference? I mean, yeah, there is a different, yeah, you know, yes and no. It's all good Jewish answers, you know. Yes and no. Yes, there is something different in different prayers. Ne'ilah is the end of, you know, closing the gates and so on. Absolutely. And know that right now your prayers are heard, you know, just the same. So it depends from top down. So then there's going to be greater, you know, greater light of God will be, you know, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, definitely. But from down up, from us and our efforts, it could be a regular weekday, you know, nothing special day. But when it comes truly from our heart and soul, then in that sense, there's no difference. There's no distinction, no difference. So yeah, there is distinctions and there isn't. Both things are true. It depends. Top down, there's going to be differences. It's going to be a hierarchy. Bottom up, any moment, any time. Because that's coming from within. Something that we've been learning in the Hasidic discourse in the morning, right? We call Davida, is that the month of Elul is greater on some level than Rosh Hashanah, because Rosh Hashanah is a top-down experience. So, you remember the story I told you, you know, the students coming into Chabad house on Rosh Hashanah, like, you know, there was a sense of trepidation, of awe. You know, it's the days of awe. You know, it's Yom Hadin, the day of judgment. So, you know, those who are more traditional, that's in their psyche. That's in their psyche. And as a result, you know, we gear up for it. We're like, it's, you know, like Michelle told, you know, the whole family got new clothes when they were younger. So, you know, it was a whole, but that's all top down. So there will be distinctions. But we have a power of our soul that's from within, bottom up, right? So we say with l'chaim, bottoms up, l'chaim. The bottom should come up.
And we still change things, Rabbi, in after the new year with our Ruach HaKodesh, you know, with our Kavana and prayer. Can we, or is it sealed after Yom Kippur? How much is our prayers mean davening mean after Rosh Hashana, Yom Hadin, and Yom Kippur?
Absolutely. Until Shana Rabbah, we can still do something about it. We can still do something about it. Absolutely. So
What does our prayers mean after that then? What do we do with our prayers after the Hoshana Rabbah? What do they mean after that?
so why do you have to pray afterwards?
Yeah.
Good question. So what's the answer? The answer is whatever you've been allotted to by Rosh Hashana, or whether it's by Yom Kippur that you're going to finally get allotted to, or maybe Hoshana Rabbah afterwards, right? Does that mean you're going to get it on a particular Thursday or the following Monday or the next Sunday? No. Just because you've been allotted something doesn't mean that you're getting it on that day, part of it, any part of it. So it's sort of like, imagine on Rosh Hashanah, we create a warehouse. We create a storage house above. That these are all the things that are waiting for me for the year. These are the gifts from heaven that are waiting for me. But they're still in heaven, right? You're not getting it all on Rosh Hashanah, all of the gifts, right? It's going to be from that warehouse, then it's going to be divvied out. Okay, for today. This is today what's coming from the warehouse. Tomorrow, she's another day, right? So our prayers help to elicit each day that which is in our spiritual storehouse, our warehouse above, that we can get that which is meant for us for today. But remember, folks, what do we learn over here? That the main focus is not about the things that we're going to get. The main focus that we want for Rosh Hashanah is that we should absolutely have health and wealth and everything. But that's only a means to an end. That I should have all those things, all the material things, all the physical things, not as an end in themselves, but as a means to help me fulfill what I was created for. So this Rosh Hashanah, you want to ask, God, give me everything I need so I can fulfill my purpose. That's why when Mashiach comes, we're going to have everything that we need. It's so plentiful. You know why? You know why it'll be so plentiful? It's because if I got it all, I could use it all. Whatever I don't got, I can't use to fulfill my purpose. But if I got it all, I don't have to worry about the things in my life because I got it all. But then those things, it's interesting, the term in the Rambam is, in Maimonides, is that that be delicacies like dust of the earth. I mean, dust of the earth. In other words, it'll be so plentiful, it'll be like dust of the earth, just like, there's so much. But it also means that all the delicacies, we will see them like dust in the earth. Dust in the earth isn't valuable to us. The delicacies won't be valuable to us as delicacies, as a tool to serve, and that we can experience a profound oneness with God and fulfill Torah and mitzvahs without any challenges and difficulties. That's what we want. We want to be able to fulfill our purpose, what we're here for. All right, folks, got to run because we got TRC coming up in a very short time. All right, so we will continue our conversation. God bless you all. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rabbi.
The most important
Thank you, Rabbi.
Lashana Tova Masuka should be written and sealed for a good year with all revealed goodness, sweet cheer, and wonderful, beautiful stuff. God bless you all. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.